In this video, I want to go over 3 points that a lot of globe believers state as proof that we live on a ball. Recently, I watched an interview with Dr. Ross where many topics were discussed, and he also brought up these same 3 points. So I want to discuss them from a flat earth point of view. I would love to dissect more topics, but for now, in the spirit of keeping this video quick, I will focus on these 3 major issues. On a personal note, I want to state that I am a fan of Dr. Hugh Ross. I read 3 of his books back in the 90s and still occasionally follow his work. This video is not meant to attack Dr. Ross. He and I simply have different cosmological views, and I believe he fails to consider the potential that celestial bodies are local and not far off.
And what I've been sharing with them, look, take a flight from New York to Santiago, Chile, get a night flight, get a window seat, look out the window and see what happens to the stellar constellations. You know, I've taken such flights myself, and you can see the constellations slowly turn upside down. That can only happen if the Earth is a spherical body.
Okay, so Dr. Hugh Ross is talking about a flight from New York to Santiago, Chile, and I have that pulled up here, and we're going to do a mock flight. So there's that lined out. All right, let's pull up our star wheel chart here, and we're going to focus on this area right down here. And I'm going to print this out, and I'm going to bring this into our model. Okay, so here it is. I brought it into our model, and we're flying above the Earth, but below this celestial body here. So you can probably already see what's going to happen, but I'm going to do a mock flight down my kitchen here. Okay, so I've taped on my ceiling the star constellation and that we were looking at, and we're going to put that up above us. It's on my ceiling, and then we're going to do a simulated flight, just like Dr. Ross said. Okay, so here we are in New York, and we're going to take a look at our constellation. I put an X on one side to help. Notice that the X is away from us, so it would be what we would consider top side. And as we continue our flight, it's slowly turning. And now, as we head off into Santiago, Chile, we see the X is on the other side. The star pattern, it has slowly turned upside down. Okay, the X is now towards us. So we would consider that the bottom side. If we come back, there we go.
You can see the constellations slowly turn upside down.
And as we continue our flight, it's slowly turning. So I think what the problem is, respectfully, is that when professors like this, or anybody for that matter, thinks of flat Earth, they still keep the heliocentric model in their head, and they just flatten the Earth and put it back in its location. The whole cosmology view has to change. You have to see and understand that the sun, the moon, the stars are all local. This model here of the heliocentric is just completely wrong. And that's what is difficult to get out of your head. When I was first learning about this 7-8 years ago, that's what I had trouble with. I kept trying to flatten the Earth and stick it in the heliocentric model. And I think that's where people are getting hung up.
The whole chapter on what the ancients believed about the shape of the Earth. They were well aware of the crow's nest effect, how, if you get higher up, you can see farther away. That's one evidence that the Earth is spherical.
Dr. Ross argues that ascending to higher altitudes allows for increased visibility due to the idea that the Earth is a sphere. It's important to note that regardless of altitude, the horizon always appears at eye level. This means that from our perspective, the horizon maintains a level and flat appearance. The increased visibility at higher altitude is not a result of the Earth's curvature, but rather due to the expansion of our field of vision. When we elevate ourselves above the Earth's surface, each step or increase in altitude reveals a broader range of scenery. This expanded view allows us to see more things at once. In this scenario, if the Earth were a spherical object, we would expect the visual horizon to shift downward as we rise up, requiring us to tilt our heads in order to see the horizon line. However, our everyday observations contradict this expectation. Whether we are at sea level or on a mountaintop or on a jet, the horizon constantly appears at eye level, maintaining its level, flat nature. This consistently challenges the idea of a curved Earth and suggests that the increased visibility at higher altitude is the result of our extended field of vision.
The ancients recognize that as you move north and south, you see different stellar constellations.
The argument that different constellations are visible when moving from north to south, supposedly proving that we live on a sphere, is disproved when considering perspective. It has been suggested that if the Earth were flat, one would be able to see all constellations from any point on Earth. However, this overlooks the limitations of visibility. This model, once again, makes an assumption that stars are located hundreds or even thousands of light years away and neglects the possibility of a model where the stars are local. To illustrate this, imagine standing at one end of a long hallway under a light shaped like Aquarius, while your friend stands at the other end under a light shaped like Leo. If you were to ask your friend about the light above you, both of you would disagree because you cannot see the light above your friend and vice versa. Thank you for watching, and always remember our natural state is peace and love. So let's be kind to one another. If you're following my channel, I think you'll really enjoy my upcoming video that I'm already working on. It's going to be a bit different, incredibly thought-provoking, and just a lot of fun. Tschüss.